Now let's look at a walk cycle, okay? And if I click on this, once again, we can kind of control our character. And if I click on the skin, you can see that it selects the skin. One thing that I want to point out is that over here in the channel box, you can see that Andy's skin is on a layer. So I can go here, and if I press this first one, it'll template it, meaning that it's in wireframe and I cannot select it. And if I click it again, it's going to reference it, meaning I can't select it, but I can see it. That's exactly what I want, because I don't want to accidentally select the skin. I only want to be able to select the controllers. Now, if I look at this, I can see that this is the reference that I'm going to follow. This is the starting point, so I can see that the character is upright, and then when he steps, the hips go down, and I can kind of see that with a red line, and then the hips go back up, they go down, they go back up, and then I can see that the head, same thing, head is up, down, up, down, up. I can see that this first frame and the 30th frame are opposite. You can see his opposite legs are in front. And then I can see that the final frame and the first frame are the same. So it's going to go from this position and it's going to go all the way until it gets to that exact position again. I can also see that frame 15 and frame 45 are opposite. You can see the opposite foot is forward and the opposite arms are there. So this is what I'm going to have as the reference. And if you have another monitor, I would suggest having that on the other screen, or otherwise print this out, take a look at it, and have this right in front of you. All right, now, and the other thing I guess you should say is that it's kind of weird that start is over here and finish is over here. The reason that I have it like that is because the character is facing this way, okay? Why is that important? Well, in Maya, I can see that if I click on the 4 views, by default, it shows us this view of the character. So instead of like complicating it, I'm just going to have the character walk from this way. All right. I'm also going to tap the spacebar, and that's going to get my side view full screen. And I think the most valuable views that we could have are going to be side view and perspective. So I think what I might do is go to Panel, Layouts, and then I might say 2 panes side by side. Now I could have this one my side view, and I could go Panels, Orthographic, Side, and then I could, on this one, Panels, Perspective, Perspective. Now I can see that I've got the 2 panels that are most important to me. Okay, now the goal is on this first frame, I'm going to go ahead and set it like this. So that should be pretty easy. I'm going to go ahead and grab the wrist controller. Notice I'm grabbing it in my perspective view. I think it's kind of easier to do that. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this and bring it kind of close here. Once again, my move, rotate, and scale tools are on the side here. Or I could press W, E, and R. Those are my shortcuts for move, rotate, and scale. All right, just kind of getting that arm down. And this one I'm also going to bring kind of close to the body like this. Okay, great. Yeah, looking good. And, you know, I'm not too worried about the character being perfect right now, like as far as the wrist being in natural positions and stuff. I just kind of want to get kind of a baseline here. So I'm kind of, this arm's a little forward. I'm also not having straight arms. I'm having a slight bend in the arm. Yeah, that looks good. Then I want this back leg up. So I'm going to select this red controller, push this up like this, bring this out a little bit, and maybe rotate. Okay, cool. So that looks good for frame 1. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all my main areas. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to press S on the foot control. I'm going to go to this foot control and press S. And what is that doing? That is keying that position on that frame. So this is where I want the wrist on frame 1, so I'm going to press S. I want to click on this hip control, press S. I'm going to click on this one, press S. And so I've got both wrists, the hips, and the legs. Maybe also the knee aims. I'm going to press S, S, and then same with the elbow aims. Press S on those as well. Okay, great. So that set a keyframe on all of those really important areas. So now what I could do is I want the first frame, remember, and the last frame to be identical. So instead of like trying to match that up again, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go to frame 60 right now. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select this. I'm going to press S, 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 and then also click on these, press S, and these. Now, it's kind of annoying pressing S all the time. So what we can do here is I can click on this animation, actually this second one here, this is going to auto key anything that I have an adjustment on. Okay, so you'll also notice that you might not see a red tick mark on the timeline down here. You're only going to see that red tick mark if you select something that you initially pressed S on. Okay, so now when I click on these, you can see the red tick mark both at frame 1 and at frame 60. But if I click on something like the chest controller, I never set a key on that. That's why we're not seeing a tick mark on there. Okay, now I'm going to go to frame 15. So I'm going to go to frame 15, and now I'm going to leave him in place. The character is not going to move forward. Instead, the character is going to move essentially kind of, he's just going to walk in place, like let's say staying on a treadmill. So to do that, I'm going to just go ahead and take his hips, and once again, I'm on frame 15. I'm going to push his hips down like this. I'm going to grab this foot and move it back so it's almost straight. And then I'm going to take this foot, bring this down. I'm going to have to rotate it 90 degrees or 0 degrees. I can type in 0 on rotate X. And I'm going to bring this like straight down. And then I'm going to kind of bring that out like that. Excellent. And now I'm just going to correct his wrists. There we go. And this one I'm going to bring, and then maybe rotate that up. Kind of looking at it from the front, just kind of, there we go. Hey, that looks pretty good. And then I could also go to this back foot. Well, you know what? I'm not going to key the heel up yet. So now I'm going to select this, and I can see that there's a red tick mark there. That's good. Red tick mark there. That's good. On the hip, that's good. That's good. That's good. And now there might not be a red tick mark on the elbow aims because we didn't adjust that at all. So I'm going to select those manually, press S, and I'm also going to select the knee controllers and press S. Okay. Now, kind of watch the magic that happens here. When I scrub through here, and depending on what viewport I have selected, so I want this side view selected. Hey, congratulations. We got our character starting to walk here. Okay. I'm going to just go ahead and continue this process. In the next lessons, we'll kind of finish up the walk cycle here, but I feel like we've got our first kind of keyframes established. All right, let's continue the walk cycle. I can see that it's blending nice from frame 1 to 15. And if I want to see that from a side view, I just click on this view, and now I can see that that's the view that'll update. And then from frame 15 to 60, it's also blending. But what I care about the most is the blend from 1 to 15. Now if I go to frame 30, I can see that the character starts to blend to that position. But if I want really the reverse of this, you can see here, here's the first frame, and now I want the reverse of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to middle mouse drag. So click with the wheel and middle mouse drag, and notice how it doesn't update the position of this character. Then I'm going to select all the main controllers like this, So the feet, the hips, the knees, the elbow controls, and the wrist controls. And then I'm going to press S as in set key, and it's going to kind of lock the character in position right there. Okay, and maybe to kind of get our other frame established, if I go to frame 15, I can see that the character is down. I'm going to want the reverse of this as well at frame 45. So I'm going to middle mouse drag to frame 45, and now I could select all of those key positions. So I'm going to select the feet, the hips, maybe the knees, the wrists, and the elbow controls, and press S on frame 45. And now I've got kind of the basic ones done here. But now remember, frame 30 is the reverse of this. So I'm simply just going to go grab this foot, bring this up, rotate it, get that in line with that foot, and now I could bring this other foot and bring it back down, rotate it, and I can see right here I could type in 0. Okay, and then once again for the opposite, I'm just going to kind of rotate which hand is forward. Now, granted, the hands are kind of at the side here, but just kind of like looking at my reference, I just kind of want to give that a slight kind of movement there. All right, that's looking pretty good. All right, and now just to verify, I'm going to just click on my main things here, the feet, these, the wrist, the hips, the other one, and these, and press S. Now let's see what we have. So from frame 1, if I scrub, hey, looking good, looking good. Now he starts to go backwards, starting to do the moonwalk, right? But that's easy to correct because at frame 45, even though we got kind of the basics done, we now need to just reverse this. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the foot control and bring it up to the other one. And I'm bringing this one back. Now, if it's not exactly reversed, that's okay. I feel like it's probably better that it maybe isn't perfect. So don't worry about getting the other foot kind of exactly where the other one was. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of bring this arm back. And I also want to make sure that, it's not kind of crossing his back like that. Okay, there we go. And once again, I think I'm going to select the feet controller, the hip, the knees, the wrists, and these as well, and press S here. Excellent. Now let's take a look at what we have. I'm going to put my time slider right here to only show 60 frames. And I'm going to rewind it, click on this side view, and hit play. Hey, that's pretty good. I feel like it's not quite perfect. We still have some edits to do, but I think we're getting a long way. It's coming a long way. So let me just kind of scrub through and take a look at this. So that looks right at frame 1. Okay, I can see at frame 15 that it looks like something kind of happened. For some reason, this foot didn't stay planted. So that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and bring that back down, rotate this. That just means that I forgot to select it and press S for set key. So I'll go ahead and press S for set key. Now let me scrub through. Okay, that looks good. Yes. Okay, good. Let's play that, loop that. All right. And what we'll notice too is that if we think about this, if I go back to my reference here, frame 1 and frame 60 are identical, or they should be. And they should be because, remember, we posed the character at frame 1, and then I really kind of copied this. I didn't change anything, and I keyed it exactly at frame 60 like that. So think about if we loop this kind of this animation cycle, that those frames are going to double up. So we could say that at actual walk cycle reference for this guy is going to be from frame 1 to frame 59. Because at frame 59, you could think about it as coming back here, and then it's going to go to this frame, okay, which would be frame 60 or frame 1. They're going to be identical. So it's going to actually be 59 frames. So if I type in 59 right here, now when it gets to frame 59, then when it goes to frame 60, that's going to be a perfect blend from the last frame of that to the beginning frame of this. So now if I hit play, okay, great. So I've got a good start. There's probably some edits that we could make to make this look a lot more natural, but I feel like this is a great starting point.